Standing here today, it's almost impossible to imagine what Stairfoot once looked like. Beneath these roads, roundabouts and modern developments lay one of South Yorkshire's busiest industrial landscapes. Canals, railways, collieries and factories all competed for space, yet today almost every trace has disappeared. In this episode, we're following the final miles of the Dearne Dove Canal to uncover the hidden story of a place transformed beyond recognition. Welcome back to another episode of Lost Canals of South Yorkshire. A few episodes ago, we walked down the Dearne Dove Canal. We walked from, where did we walk from now? The other side of Wombly. We walked from the junction, that was it. Yeah.
Our favourite place.
Forgetting the junction from the Elsica branch. And we followed it up and we finished here at the top of the Stairfoot flight. 8 locks that climbed the canal to where it met the Wobbly branch. After climbing the Stairfoot flight, the Dearne Dove Canal entered a very different landscape. The countryside was left behind. Ahead lay Stairfoot, one of South Yorkshire's busiest industrial districts, where canals, railways, collieries and factories competed for every inch of ground. On this little minor road, we're not on the canal, but the canal's passing right across here, isn't it? This is Cork Bridge.
Cork Lane and Cork Bridge.
Now it's spelt both as a cork in a bottle,
yeah,
and also as Cork, C-A-U-L-K, which is probably pronounced Cork. See, this is an old bridge, John. It doesn't look
yeah, it was a lovely little humpback bridge, and it's almost like this is obviously, you can see it's going rising up on the left.
Well, this is the approach, isn't it?
Yeah.
I see now. Yeah, it's quite obvious now. And then the bridge was here, look, and you can. There's a brash and abandoned canal straight in front of our eyes there, look, just snaking around to Stairfoot.
I'd say that's very abandoned.
There is a public footpath sign here, though.
Yeah, I think that's going to hit the line on the right, I think.
So does this footpath follow the line of the canal then?
I think it follows the line, but it's off centre from it.
Yeah, it's a bit windy.
Yeah, we just follow the route of the canal, haven't we? And this also is the route of the canal.
That's right. I was going to ask that. So is this?
Definitely is, yeah. We're going to still be able to, even despite this housing development, they've kept the line of the canal going round.
What if this has been dug out?
I mean, it looks like something's happened to it. Maybe it's again, yeah, you always get drainage these days.
Is this a la Renishaw type scenario?
Well, again, perhaps, yeah, for the drainage, perhaps for the
new housing development here. So I can't remember what I've watched it on now. It might have been one of Quotable the Cuts video when they were discussing about the impact of a canal that it has to the price of houses, you know, like...
Oh, right, yeah, sort of regenerative impact. So you regenerate a canal near here and it's like, oh, you know, come and live on our estate because it's got an extra feature, it's near a canal.
Basically, yeah. It was a lot more marketable.
Yeah, I suppose it does give it that extra little push, doesn't it? Right, so we were hoping we could keep going, but maybe with the estate, that is not possible.
From the other side of the housing estate, it did look as though there was some kind of way around the side, didn't it, John?
Yeah, originally, or until relatively recently, I assume you could get round.
We've just had to walk around the other side of the housing estate, a bit of a detour, and the canal's we're just picking it up, the other side of the housing estate, just here. That's a shame that access has been lost. We've just come to this little bit of canal that's just frozen here. We've just been saying this. Some of the sections of canal that we've been seeing around here, it's disgusting.
Yeah, the state is not always good. It's such a pity because like this would be a lovely little spot if you just cleared a little bit, get rid of all the litter, sit out, watch some wildlife. You know, there's a big road nearby, but you know, be an escape from that.
And we don't mean it's a disgrace in terms of it's not managed, it's overgrown. It's the litter, it's a dumping ground. It's like, it's almost as like, it's kind of out of sight, out of mind. There's just, we talk about, you know, green and blue corridors, waterways like this. I mean, look at like, this could be a haven for wildlife, reeds. I mean, there's birds flying between the trees. Yeah. Stuff, nothing's, I mean, what can survive down here? It's just like a reason to fly tip. It's quite upsetting, really.
Yeah, but I do like this stretch though. It's like just gives you a feel for how wide it was.
Well, with the houses.
Just as well, I was going to say yes.
The corner and news. I mean,
They could put a little footpath down, like a little walkway down to here and back.
Yeah. Where's the joy in living somewhere like this?
Yeah.
This is just an eyesore, a smelly eyesore. Really, let's be honest. Such a shame. It's so sad when you go places and they make an effort with canals and habitats like this, and just to see us, as in humans, just having this impact on nature's. Now we're just coming into an area of Barnsley known as Stairfoot. Again, it's an area that we've covered before. We did the railway that just runs, well, there's many railways through Stairfoot actually. It's quite astounding the amount of stuff and railways there was in Stairfoot. No railways here now. And we walked down the old GC and we saw the station site. Didn't we?
Yeah, good day out.
Yeah, it was a while ago that now. I'm just jogging my memory here. There was viaducts for 2 lines that crisscrossed right in the middle where the roundabout is.
Yeah.
I suppose the point I'm getting at is, just like the canals, the railways, it's now all gone, it's all been redeveloped. And our canal, we've been able to trace this canal all the way pretty much, give or take. You know, it's been obvious where the canals run, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. But soon we're going to completely lose it for a period.
No, we've not had to work hard to follow this canal.
No.
But it gets to here and
what the hell's going on?
decimated. It's like somebody's just drawn a line on a map and just got an eraser out.
I suppose there's a clue. There's always a clue. That building over there.
Yes. So the canal's going straight. Well, the line of the canal on the maps, John, I can make is pretty much going.
I think it just goes. It looks like it went past that pub, just at the very back of it, basically. So it's almost like you gnaw up, have a drink, carry on, if you're allowed.
Let's go and have a look anyway.
Let's
go and look at this pub because it has got some significance to the canal. The Keel. I understand this is the only pub remaining in Stairfoot. So I've read. I've got in my notes here that this was one of 2 pubs called the Keel or Keel Inn.
Oh, really?
Yeah, the other one's on the Barnsley Canal. So
wow.
We might see that, we might not see that.
I like the sign at least, look.
Are we looking right across down the line of the canal here then, John?
Yeah, basically, yeah. I think it went through where this roundabout is at a higher level, picked up that road on the left and then started to curve round to the right, back behind where Starbucks is.
Oh, that's up to Stairfoot Bridge, isn't it? Doncaster Road. Yeah. This is where following the canal becomes increasingly difficult, not because it disappeared beneath fields or woodland, but because Stairfoot itself has been almost completely rebuilt. Roads have been diverted, new developments constructed, and the industry swept away. Without historic maps, it'd be almost impossible to realise that a canal ever passed through here.
So we're now literally under the railway bridge.
So we've been looking right down the line of the canal on the left hand side here then, would we? It's just starting to curve round to the right here. Round where Domino's is, just in front there. Excuse the sun, but we've stood right underneath the railway bridge here. Was it the Midland? I think it was, wasn't it? Huge viaduct, this one. There's 2 elevated railways through Stairfoot. One you can just see in the background there. This was actually higher than those bridges that are already in. For a pedestrian, we've just been commenting, it's taken so long to get around from that Keel Inn on foot. It's not a very friendly place for pedestrians, but this just sums up here just how much this area has changed. Stairfoot. We'd be stood right underneath the railway viaduct here. The canal's going. You see the Aldi just on the top of the banking up there? Well, the canal's just kind of skirting right alongside of that, just this side of that. And even the road systems have changed so much over the years. If we swing right just down here, you see where these buildings are on the right? Well, that's the old alignment of Doncaster Road. So here we are, the canal's coming right. We're pretty much following it on foot here actually, where the canal, the alignment of the canal, and it's just squeezing over, it's squeezing underneath here, John.
Is that it? So it goes through here?
This is Doncaster Road, and this would have been Stairfoot Bridge, where Doncaster Road went over the top of the canal here. And there is the old Doncaster Road. So we'd be stood right on top of Stairfoot Bridge, right here. So we're walking on it right now. This is the line of the canal, John. It just threads just by the side of the travel lodge.
So was there a bridge to go under this? Is this a railway line?
It passed under the railways. It passed under the Great Central.
So there's an infield bridge here, isn't there?
So your guess is as good as mine, but the bridge somewhere around here. Let's look, this is the cycleway now. Again, bulrushes, plenty of fly tipping. So this is Tank Road.
Tank Road.
Tank Road. This road wasn't here when the canal was in use, wasn't it? This is right. This is a new road.
Newish.
We've just been saying. I wonder what the
Why is it Tank Road?
origins of the name. Yeah.
Is there a tank manufacturing plant here? Or probably not as exciting as that here.
It's just so confusing. If you know this area, this might make more sense. But coming here and not being familiar to the lay of the land can be really be confusing, because we've got several railway lines, even after the ones that we've shown you here, all related to the pits. But what we do have, thankfully, we have a really good record, really good documentation of photographs on Britain from above. So have a look at their website and we can see the line of the canal so well as it threads its way in and out of all these railways, in and out of all this industry and works and collieries.
Old aerial photographs reveal just how extraordinary this landscape once was. The canal threaded its way beneath towering viaducts, alongside Barnsley Main Colliery and through a maze of industrial sidings. Standing here today, it's almost impossible to believe these photographs show the same place.
So just on the left-hand side here, look at their headstocks. They are impressive, that.
It's magnificent, that structure.
That's Barnsley Main Colliery. And we're still on the canal, loosely. The canal's, how far do you say, John? Roughly just 20 yards to our right?
We're literally on the bank of it.
Oh, right, are we? Okay.
On the left-hand side, the southern side, and we are literally now about to step under where that massive viaduct that crossed the whole valley was.
And that, we can see photographs of this, and we can see it on those aerial photographs. And it is impressive. And that just goes this side of the headstocks, does it? Am I remembering
just
right?
the left, yeah.
Would you believe? We come to these places and we say, don't we? Could you believe it's the same place?
Imagine the amount of industry activity going on here all the day, every day.
Look how high up we are here.
Yeah.
The road down there. We're right up on the side of the... How I'm just struggling with not going up any locks, the topology of the area.
Yeah.
How have we got to such a height?
Well, you imagine since the Keel Inn, there was that dipped roundabout, and it obviously was going at a higher level across there, and there's not been any locks to this point. So it was higher, obviously, there, and then it snaked through under those railways. It's hard to work it out.
Yeah. Original.
Yeah, right, yeah,
Rail.
I think so, yeah.
Okay.
It's not been put in for any recreational purposes.
There you go. We were just coming across these rails as we were walking through Barnsley Main Colliery site. Look, it's now like a park. It's now like a heritage centre attraction. Pit pony, just dragging one of the tubs. We've been having a look round Barnsley Main Colliery, haven't we?
Yeah,
interesting.
up there on the hill.
Yeah, it's right behind us here, the headstock. Other than it being on the side of the canal, you know, it's just an interesting place. We mentioned that viaduct that crossed over the canal and went. That's just to the left of the headstocks here.
Yeah, over the canal, over multiple railway lines, and over the river down.
What a structure though that looks on the old photograph. And we've just come here, and we're stood here. Believe it or not, I'm just going out on top of one of those piers from that viaduct here. Look at the road down there. I can't really get any closer than that. I don't.
It's like a little platform we're on that's shut.
I mean, that's fantastic. There's nothing at that side. resembles this viaduct. Was it trestle over that bit? Well, that was high. That viaduct's high. I mean, how high we are here above the valley, and then there's another span on top. Look, and there is the pier sticking out just above the road there. I saw that actually when I was driving in this morning, John.
Yeah.
It caught my eye. You know, your eye's trained.
Like, yeah, you're trained.
It's like whoop, whoop.
And then what? You're trained to that caught your eye as well.
Well, the telegraph pole dumped on the embankment. Yeah. Now the fact that we have got the Barnsley Main Colliery on the left-hand side here, I think we're walking at the right level for the canal.
Yeah, I think we're fairly confident in that point.
We're on the right contour line for the canal.
And it did curve round at this point to the left, so we are following the course of the canal.
Because we picked up this path that looks a little bit like a railway embankment clinging to this hillside here on the side of this valley. There's a ditch on this side. We thought, is this canal? But all this here, I know a lot of the colliery waste and the spoil was kind of, what's the word, John? It was kind of just tossed over.
Yeah.
But we must come into some kind of canal at some point along here, because we line up right with the next bridge that we'll see. Oaks Lane Bridge. Anyone local know what has actually happened here? It's obvious that the canal is on. We're on the alignment of the canal now because we're lining up with the bridge. Yeah, so this is Oaks Lane Bridge. Now, the road Oaks Lane above here, we can see when we get up to the top. That's been realigned and that's been straightened, but the bridge still remains. You can see the top of the arch there. I don't know if it has been concreted up. It's hard to see. That's a bit of a closer look, isn't it? So it has been filled in, look. You can see the archway. You can see the stones at the top of the arch. And then the concrete in the middle. Yeah, so you can see, look, there's the bridge, there's the original bridge. Yeah, both sides, John, Oaks Lane. So you can see why it's being filled in with concrete at that side, look, because the canal's been filled in this side because the road's been realigned. I'm assuming a very minor lane back then. Well, there wouldn't have been motor vehicles. I mean, what, you got horse-drawn back in the days when this canal was built, when this bridge was put in. Yeah, severe dog like that. But look at the approaching wall coming down here, and we've still got these steps that lead down here, look, onto the towpath. So this is what's just, it's just not clear just to get a lay of the land here because of the changes that have happened since the canal was closed. So we can see where we've just walked down that towpath there. So I call it a towpath, footpath.
It's only by walking this route that you begin to appreciate the scale of what's been lost. Not just a canal, but an entire industrial landscape. The bridges, the railways, the collieries and the communities they served have almost all disappeared, leaving only fragments for those willing to look.
We're planning on taking this episode all the way to Hoyle Lock, or the junction with the Dearne Dove Canal and the Barnsley Canal, but we are fast losing the light. The sun for the last hour has been behind the trees and the spoil tips, so we're going to leave this one here and we'll pick up with another story, another adventure where we take it the short distance down to the junction with the Barnsley Canal, and that'll be the last bit of the Dearne Dove. Thanks ever so much. I hope you've been enjoying this series so far, all the effort me and John, not to mention the miles and the research, and it might sound like we don't know what we're talking about.
Reading this book, studying the pictures, go like, what? It doesn't look anything like that anymore.
You know, it has been enjoyable.
Awesome, yeah.
But we're not finished. We've got plenty more stuff to bring you on this series. So thanks to all my channel members and my supporters, anyone who's bought merch, anyone who's supported me in any way, like the videos, subscribe to the channel, left me a comment. As always like hearing from people. So thanks for watching. We'll see you soon. Ta-ra.